I think sport plays a very important role in our lives. And I'm not only referring to the geographical location of this synagogue and the fact that we are opposite the main place for cricket lovers. But also, I think that each time when a test match is at Lord's, there is always a hope that the crowd will turn left, will turn to the synagogue and not necessarily turn to the stadium. Who knows? Maybe that's even enough that we are here, because those who are Jewish and they go to Lord's, they might be just proud of being next to it. And who knows? Our vision is to see millions more young people in Britain and across the world participating in sport and improving their lives as a result of that participation. These were the words of Prime Minister Tony Blair in a speech to International Olympic Committee on the 6th of July 2005, the day London was awarded the right to host the 2012 Olympics. 10 years on from the start of the Games, and what is London's Olympic legacy? On the one hand, thousands of jobs have been created, and many thousands of new homes have been built. On the other hand, housing in the area surrounding the Olympic Village became unaffordable to people who lived there before. There are many such examples of achieved and unachieved results of the 2012 Olympics. I would like to focus on just one aspect, on social aspect of it. When they built the Olympic Park, they did it in East London, an area that they wanted to develop and improve. The idea was beautiful. If you have resources, if you are spending time and money in any way, spend them in an area that needs them the most. This way, the Olympics served as a booster for the social and economic growth to the chosen area. Let's look at the origin of the Olympics, though. The ancient Olympic Games started many, many centuries ago. Some people say it's unclear when exactly they started. Some people say the 8th century before the Common Era. Some people date it even earlier, on the 15th century or before the Common Era. But originally, they were most likely they were festivals held every 4 years at the sanctuary of Zeus in Olympia, Greece. Hence the name, the Olympics. The Olympics were of fundamental religious importance, featuring sporting events alongside ritual sacrifices honoring Greek gods. The winners of the events were admired and remembered in poems and statues, and the ancient Olympics were about admiration of the human body and Greek religious ceremony. Don't worry, I'm not going to go into it and say that they're not Jewish, therefore people shouldn't watch Olympics anymore. It's not about that. But the change that the Olympic Games undertook throughout the ages, the change from religious significance of Greek mythology to something different. Like many events and practices today, it acquired new meaning and purpose. The three values of Olympics today are excellence, respect, and friendship. And they promote sport, culture, and education with a view of building a better world. Although on the surface, Olympics are still about the human body and admiration, serving human body, and the excellence of sport performance. The two additional values, respect and friendship, provide an important and crucial addition and potential for growth for our society. In Talmud, there is a term, and the term is chassid. Today, we refer a Jewish person as a chassid if they belong to a Hasidic movement, one of the ultra-Orthodox branches of Judaism. But this definition is much older than modern Hasidic movement, by over 1,000 years, actually. And according to the Talmud, a chassid, or chassid in Hebrew, the stress is chassid, is an observant religious person who fulfills their duties beyond the line of the law. In other words, the one who does more that's required of them. Talmudic definition of a chassid is a person who goes beyond what's required. And let's remember this principle and look at this week's Torah portion. It speaks about establishing 6 cities of refuge, arei miklat. So on the surface, these cities represent the ancient idea of justice. If somebody commits an unintentional crime, they should not be punished by a family member. And they should have the right for just and fair court hearing. And that's what it's about. So such people need protection. Therefore, the establishment of such cities is an important part of ancient justice system. However, Torah scholars were very puzzled. In practice, these cities served not as a protection, but as prisons. Once the unintentional, the person who committed the unintentional crime arrived at one of them, they had to spend years before their guilt was annulled and they were allowed to leave. So it's not about protection. So in practice, they served as prisons. According to modern Torah commentary by Rabbi Gunther Plaut, the institution of such cities had 3 purposes. It was a protective measure to give anyone the opportunity to let passions cool. It serves further as a punishment for the accidental killer, because exile constituted a form of social isolation. And the third, and in some ways the most important purpose, was to contain and isolate the sin that has been committed. For the killing was understood to contaminate the whole community, not just one person. Unnatural loss of a human being, of life, though it occurred without evil intent, was a moral injury to the total society. There are lengthy discussion in Talmud and about arei miklat, and there is another dimension to this, and this is where I think. And this dimension is always connected with Hasidim, those people who are more pious, who are doing more than. For the most pious, this is the law. Each city had to have good and wide roads leading to it. According to the Numbers Rabbah, when God told Moses, provide yourself with cities of refuge, Moses said, Master of the universe, this one killed by accident in the south or the north, how will he know where the city of refuge is, that he may flee to it? God replied, set up for yourself signs pointing to the cities of refuge, that they will know where to travel. And on every sign write, to the city of refuge, and so on. Therefore, these cities provide the country with a boost of infrastructure. So the cities had to have wide roads and good quality roads leading to them and clear signage. So they were well-known landmarks and served important social and geographic purpose. Let's look at the map again, where the cities are located. Here is the map of all 6 cities of refuge. On the one hand, they seem to be equally distributed, right? So you can probably get to a city within a half a day walk or maybe a day walk. However, Jewish scholars noticed that river makes it unequal, because crossing the river is not an easy task, and there were not many bridges. Why? There are only 3 cities on the left, as you can see, where there are 10 tribes located, and the vast majority of people live on the left, on the west bank. And on the east bank of River Jordan, on the right, there are also 3 cities. There are only 2.5 tribes located there. It's not fair, they said. According to Rabbi Abaye from Talmud, it's because the East Bank had bad reputation, and many more crimes were committed there. Therefore, the cities of refuge were set up on the principles of equity, not equality. The reality and needs of different parts of the country are different. Therefore, the provision should be different too. And I think what's happening now, today, with another games, Commonwealth Games, is even more important. They are not located in London. They are located in other cities, in the outside, where there is need. Not only did the cities of refuge, give protection to people, but they were also used in a way to improve roads and countries' infrastructure, especially in areas that needed the most. And Moscow hosted the Olympics in 1980. USSR decided to use it to improve their global reputation and made a gesture to allow some refusnik Jews to leave the country. In a way, they acted according to the Hasidic principles and improved the lives of some people. Since you're doing something, do something more and use it for some other areas of life, although they didn't have to do it. On the other hand, such leniency ended immediately after the games were over, and that's the key difference. When you use something as a chassid, when you do something more, when the event is finished, if you give up, it is not a true commitment. You have to support the infrastructure you built. Today, 42 years since Moscow and 10 years since London Olympics, we need to ask, how did we use the gift we had? Did we do a bare minimum or acted according to the principles of doing more that's required? Let's hope that one day we will live in a world that uses its resources and ability to act, its power, wisely. A world of true chassids, people who go beyond what's required, not in a religious sense, but in social sense. In sense, people who do everything to help others, improve our society, help people, and make a real difference in our world. Shabbat Shalom.